guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thanks so much for being here. I'm Nicole from Organized Chaos Blog, and today I'm sharing with you my 2021 goals as well as my January tending list in the Cultivate What Matters goal setting planner. While 2020 threw us many curveballs and I most definitely did not get all of my goals achieved, I made such significant progress, and I owe it in large part to the Cultivate What Matters goal setting planner, which I used for the very first time in 2020. I will say I did take a few months off when quarantine first hit in March or April and didn't pick this planner back up probably until September, so I didn't get a full year's worth out of this. So going into 2021, I am even more excited and motivated to use it because I saw what a huge difference it made in my productivity and my goal setting just in the few months that I used it last year. So I know if I really use it and stick with it, 2021 is going to be an awesome year. So I'm going to go ahead and first run through all of the goals I've set for myself, and then I'm going to set up my January tending list and show you everything I want to achieve in the month of January. Now, if you are not familiar with this goal setting planner, it is different than any goal setting tool I have ever used in the past. I've always been the person who sets lots of goals on January 1st, and by mid-February, I have given up on 90% of them. Well, this is a different way to look at and think about goals. Basically, you have up to 8 overarching goals or categories, if you will, and then each quarter you take those 8 goals or 8 categories and break them into smaller micro goals. And then each month you go even further and break those goals into even smaller goals that can be accomplished either on a monthly, a daily, or a weekly basis. These are goals that are tangible, so you can actually track and see yourself making progress little by little. So the object of this is working towards your goals just a tiny bit at a time. And then before you know it, you look back and you see how much you actually have accomplished. I love it because it's actually doable and it's something you won't give up on because you feel like you've made no progress. If you're a little confused, you'll get to see exactly what I mean when I go a little bit deeper into my goals for the year and then again for our monthly goals in January. If you are interested in one of these planners, I do believe there are still a few left available on the website. They do tend to sell out rather quickly, but last I checked, there were a couple still available. It was limited stock though, so I will leave a link in the description box to the website if you're interested in checking this out. All right, so let's jump in and I'm going to share what my goals are for 2021. Now, this year, one thing I did differently is that I have decided to completely separate my Organized Chaos Blog goals from my personal goals. Last year, I combined them all into one, but I felt like I was putting too much focus on Organized Chaos Blog and not enough focus on my personal goals. So this year, I have a separate planner that I'm only keeping stuff for my blog, YouTube, Instagram, all my social media stuff. That's going to stay completely separate. And this planner is going to be only for my personal life because I really, really want to try to keep those two aspects separate. Okay, so I did choose 8 goals this year to focus on, or 8 overarching categories. And I'm going to share them with you. Now, I love this system because you color code your goals, so then when you go and do your mini goals, you can match the colors up. If you're a planner like me, you love your color coding system. It just keeps my mind focused and I see where each goal connects, if that makes sense. So my first goal has to do with marriage and relationships. So I want to nurture my marriage and other relationships in my life. So relationships with my husband, with my kids, with my friends, with my parents, my family, things like that. And the way I did it is when I sat down to create these goals, I came up with my 8 overarching categories, and then I brainstormed things that I wanted to work on throughout the year. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm not going to focus on all the things in this one category in the month of January because that's impossible. So each quarter and each month, I'm going to focus on one specific aspect within that category. So I have a running list on my phone of things that I want to work on throughout the year in each of these categories. So for relationships in my life, things that I want to work on, or having a monthly date night with my husband, which is something we did last year and I hope to continue on this year. I want to focus on spending one-on-one time with my kids. So we do a ton of stuff together, but I feel like now that I have 2 young ones, I don't get that personal one-on-one time with them. So even if I can take 10 or 15 minutes once a week to go do something with just one of the kids and just get a little bonding time, that's something I really want to focus on. With quarantine, obviously, it's been really hard to see friends, but hopefully that will be easing up soon. So I want to focus on trying to build up some of those relationships with my friends, whether it's through Zoom chats or phone calls, or hopefully seeing them in person. I also want to plan some vacations this year where my family and I can just have fun and relax together. I want to work on a bucket list of ideas of fun things to do with my husband, and then also a bucket list of fun things to do with my kids as a family that we can check off throughout the year. So just ideas like that, and then as the year goes on and I come up with more ideas, I can add them to my list. So that is my first goal. My second goal is to build financial stability. I put that one in green because money is green. So again, this was a goal last year. You will see several of these goals or goals that I repeat year after year because they're things I work on little by little. So we did a great job. Well, I say we did a great job until quarantine hit. We did an okay job, and then I feel like a lot of us did too much online shopping during quarantine. Our grocery bill went through the roof. So that for sure is something I definitely want to work on this year, getting that grocery bill back in check. I also want to focus on budgeting a little bit better. I have a great budgeting system, which I plan to share with y'all in January, but I think we can do a little bit better. I think we can tighten our belts a little bit while still having fun. I don't want to be too strict and not be able to enjoy and live our life. I also want to focus on saving and investing a little bit more than we have been in the past, and working on paying off credit cards every single month when we put things on the credit cards. We're usually really good about that, but the last month or two, we've kind of let that slide. So I do have a little bit on my credit card that I'm going to get paid off after Christmas, and then hopefully focus on going forward in 2021. If I put anything on the credit card, it will get paid off at the end of the month, so it doesn't get that interest charge that no one wants. All right, my third goal for the year is to establish and improve routines. So these are things like my morning and my evening routine, my cleaning routines, my weekly routines that I like to do to keep my life a little bit less chaotic. So the way I have decided to do that this year is I am going to slowly build my AM and PM routine. I did start on this in 2020 and I made great progress, but I want to get even better. So what I'm going to do is that each month I'm going to add an element to both my morning and my evening routine. So one of my big goals is to eventually be a morning person and wake up at 5 o'clock every morning before the kids, just so I can have some time to get myself together for the day, get my mind in the right place. Well, that is not where I am right now. Right now I get up at about 5:45, maybe 5:40. So each month I'm gonna try to add about 5 to 10 minutes earlier onto my routine. I'm also going to add other aspects of my morning and evening routine. So you'll see when I put in my January 10 list AM and PM routine, I'm also going to list out the AM and the PM routine. It's gonna start very simple in January because I wanna make sure I stick to it. And then after those 2 or 3 things in my AM and PM routine become a habit, then in February I can add a little bit more, and then I'm going to continuously build on it. As far as my weekly routine, that's going to stay the same. I have a weekly reset that I do every single weekend before a new week starts. I've shared that with you a ton on Instagram. If you follow me there, you know, and it just makes sure our week runs smoothly. So that routine is probably going to just stay the same, and then I do really want to focus on getting a better cleaning routine as far as keeping up with some of the day-to-day tasks around the house, like laundry, vacuuming, dusting, all those boring household tasks that need to get done, but I don't want to take up my entire weekend doing those things. I'd like to get it broken down a little bit better so I can just maybe focus on one thing each day and not have to worry about a lot all at once. All right, number 4 is to prioritize physical health. This is a category and goal that I can tell you I majorly failed at in 2020. It was awful. I wish I could say quarantine was the reason, but honestly, I just didn't have that as a priority like it should be. I didn't work out like I should. I didn't eat healthy like I should. I also have had a few medical issues with my thyroids that I am still working closely with my doctor to try to get under control. And I feel like I used that kind of as a clutch for why I wasn't losing weight in 2020. So this year, I am trying to change my mindset. I know I do have some life changes this year that may be out of my control. However, I am going to do my very best to focus on eating healthy and just moving my body 3 days a week. And hopefully I will see some improvement with my physical health. All right, goal number 5 is to cultivate a home I love. So some of the things that I have in this category is decluttering my house. That is a huge goal for me. You may have seen my decluttering and organization video of our laundry room, which I posted a few weeks back. That was the first room of the house that I wanted to tackle, and it came out awesome. I was motivated and inspired by the home edit show, Get Organized, and I completely cleaned out, organized, decluttered, added a few little improvements to our laundry room, and it is wonderful. I've kept it up. It's still organized, and it is just a great space to be in. So my goal for 2021 is to do that to every room in my house. I want to declutter. I want to get rid of things we don't use. That's one of the things on the list, to make a list of things I want to use up and things that I need, that I can sell or get rid of. So things like candles. I don't need 500 candles, but I probably have 500 candles. So those are things that I don't need to buy any more candles right now. I'm going to use what I have, and I'm not going to buy anything else. Other things like kids' toys. We have so many toys for the kids. I'm going to really sit and look at what we use, what they play with, what they don't play with, what we might keep for future kids, what we can donate, what we can throw away because it's just no good anymore. I'm going to go through every room in our house, make it functional, make it organized, and make it a good space to be in. I also have some home projects that I want to get done. I want to do a gallery wall in our hall with pictures of vacations we've been on and just memories of our family. I also want to come up with some better systems in our house for keeping memorabilia and kids' artwork, things that tend to clutter up the house, but I don't want to actually get rid of. So I have a few different ideas for things I want to get done around the house just to make our house a home and more livable. All right, goal number 6 is to strengthen my faith. One thing I am not proud to say is that I truly feel that in 2020, when we stopped going to church, my faith has suffered. And not so much in a way that I don't pray anymore, because I do. We say prayers every night with the kids, but I just don't feel the connection. I feel like going to church is something that has always made me feel closer to God. So that is something that I really want to work on in 2021. And I personally feel like if I can get up and go to the grocery store, if I can go out to eat at a restaurant, if I can go here, there, and everywhere with a mask on and feel safe, then I can get my butt to church. I know not everybody feels that way, and that is completely fine. Everyone needs to do what they are comfortable doing, and if that means sitting at home in your living room and watching church on TV or not going at all, that is completely fine. I also bought a daily devotional for moms that I'm going to kick off on January 1st with short little verses each day of the week that I'm going to read. And then later in the year, I may even try to tackle a Bible study that I've been looking into. But that is to be determined. But I definitely want to work on my faith in 2021. All right, goal number 7 is to focus on my mental, emotional health, which also encompasses time for myself. So broken record, you hear it everywhere. Moms need time for themselves in order to be a good mom. And it is so true, but it is something that we are all horrible at. So I really want to focus this year on taking a little bit of time for myself. It may not be a lot because we have young kids and a busy schedule, but even if I can get, there's some days that go by that it's been 4 or 5 days and I've just jumped in the shower and I haven't had time to even sit and take a bath, even if it's a 5 to 10 minute bath. That is something I truly enjoy. So things like that, taking a bath once a week, taking time to get my nails done, getting ready in the morning. That to me is me time, when I can actually sit and curl my hair and put makeup on. It makes me feel good and it's a little bit of time for myself. I also want to work on my emotional health and my mental stability. I want to try to practice more patience with my kids, with my husband, thinking before I react. We're all guilty of it, but me especially. I will snap sometimes and I'm not proud of it. I yell sometimes and I'm not proud of it. So little things just to kind of decompress and think before I react. Also within this category comes things like reading and listening to podcasts. Last year I did hit my reading goal, but when I looked back at the books I read, I think 95% of them were fiction fun books, which is great. But this year I also want to throw in some nonfiction, self-help, mom type books. So every month I'm going to focus on trying to read one nonfiction or self-help type book that can do something to better my mental health. All right, and my last goal, number 8, is to foster creativity and follow through with projects. So if you know me or if you follow me on YouTube or Instagram, you know I am a very creative person. I love my planning. I love projects around the house with the kids and for myself. And that is something that I really want to focus on in 2021. Not just saying, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but actually following through with them. So every year I create a family yearbook on Shutterfly. That's a creative project for me. I used to scrapbook, but I don't have the space or the time anymore, unfortunately. So the Shutterfly books are ways that I can still kind of get the same effect in a quicker and more time-efficient manner. I also have Audrey's baby book, poor thing, she's 1.5 years, and I haven't even started on that. So that is at the top of my list. That's actually going to go in my January attending list because I have got to get her baby book done. Other things I have with my creative side, I want to learn to bake. I have never been a baker and it may be something I completely fail at, but I want to give it a shot, try to learn to bake a few things, easy things in 2021. I also want to come up with a better system for our recipes, so some kind of recipe box. And then finally, I want to create some kind of vision board for my office with all of these goals. So every day when I go in there, I can remind myself of what I am striving for and why I am working so hard every day. All right, so there you have it. Those are my 8 goals or my 8 overarching categories that I am going to focus on in 2021. Now, with the Cultivate What Matters Goal Setting Planner, you also pick a word of the year. So this year, the word I have decided on is faith. And obviously, it's going to correlate with my goal of cultivating my faith and deepening my relationship with God. But I feel like it goes so much further than that. So if you look up the definition of faith on Google, it is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So I think this is a great goal for me because I want to have faith not only in God, I want to have faith in myself and believe in myself that I can and will accomplish all of these goals I have set for me. I want to have faith in my family and my friends. I want to have faith in every decision I make for my family, that I am doing the right thing, that my kids are going to benefit some way from my hard work and my family's hard work, and just faith over fear in general, that I'm making good decisions day in and day out. Now I'm going to share with you my tending list for January and the goals I am specifically working on in this month. Okay, so as you can see, the tending list is divided out into monthly, weekly, and daily action items. They also have an encouraging word section at the top and then also a priority for the month. So I decided for my encouraging word this month, I'm going to write faith over fear, since faith is my word of the year for 2021. And I hope everything I do this year, I am doing because I have faith in myself or someone else. My top priority for the month is to refresh. I want to start fresh. I want to come up with some new systems and new goals, and I just want to have a clean slate. Okay, so I'm going to start first with my monthly action items, and the way I write mine out is I go through and I look at my goals and I come up with my monthly action items based off of my overarching categories. So for the category of nurturing my marriage, family, and relationships, I've actually come up with 4 monthly items that I want to focus on. The first one is a date night with Jason. This is something that I'm carrying over from last year. So this is going to be an all or nothing thing. If we go on a date night, I get to fill in the entire progress bar. If we don't, then I don't fill it in at all. Also, I'm going to put a night out with my friends. We do have an event scheduled with just a few of my really close friends. Since we did not get together for Christmas, we're hoping to get together and go to a restaurant in a couple of weeks just to see each other and spend a little bit of time together. Safely, of course, but it will be nice to see them. I'm also putting to spend one-on-one time with Grayson and Audrey. And what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to divide the progress bar down the middle, and one side is going to be a G and one side is going to be an A. So that way I can spend some time with Grayson and some time with Audrey. And then finally, for this category, I want to create a bucket list of ideas for family fun events that we can do throughout the year. Okay, the next category is to build financial stability. And for this one, I have 2 goals that I want to work on in the monthly action items section. The first one is to rework our family budget. So every year in January, I sit down and I look at our finances from the prior year. I see what worked, what didn't work, what categories I need to change up for our sinking funds, what categories I need to give myself a little bit more leeway in, what categories I can cut back in. So that is something I need to do in the month of January. And then also I want to make sure, like I said, to pay off any credit card debt that we built up in the month of December. Okay, I don't have anything in the monthly goal for establishing routines or prioritizing my physical health, but I do have something for cultivating a home I love. Like I said, I want to focus on 1 room each month throughout this year. So this month I want to focus on organizing Grayson's room. So I'm going to go through his entire room, his closet, put in some different organizational systems that will help us keep his room a little bit cleaner and easier to manage. I'm also going to create a list of things in my house that I want to either use or sell. So things I was talking about earlier, like those candles, I need to use those up. Planner stickers I need to use up. Things that I know I'm not going to use, but I can either sell or give away. I'm going to create a big list of these things so in the upcoming months this year, I can focus on using or selling them. Okay, there is no monthly action item for strengthening my faith. For focusing on my mental and emotional health / me time, I do have 1 goal, and that is to read Good Morning, Good Life. Now that actually could fall a little bit into routines, because I've heard this book really helps with establishing a morning routine. However, I have decided to put it in the category with my mental and emotional health, because this is one of those self-help books I talked about that I want to try to read 1 a month. Okay, and then finally, my goal for fostering creativity and following through with projects, I have 1 goal this month, and that is to order the pictures for Audrey's baby book. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my weekly action items. There are 6 weekly action items, but I'm only going to fill in 5 of them. That is the great thing about this planner. You don't need to feel pressure to fill up every single line. In fact, they tell you that you shouldn't fill up every single line, because that might be biting off a little more than you can chew. So for weekly action items, I have one goal for establishing and improving routines, and that is my weekly reset. Like I said, this is something I do every week, and it is something I was really good about in 2020, but in the past couple of weeks, just with the holidays and stuff, I've kind of fallen off. So in January, I really want to focus on getting back on track and making sure I complete my weekly reset every single weekend. I have one goal under the category of prioritizing my physical health, and that is to exercise 3 times a week. I'm starting small in January. I just want to make sure I move my body at least 3 days out of the week. And I will give myself a check on this if I close off my exercise ring on my iWatch, which is 30 minutes. So I can break that up. I can do 15 minutes of cardio and 15 minutes of strength. I can do one 30-minute walk around the block. However I want to do it, if I exercise 3 days a week, I will get my check for the week. Okay, for the category of strengthening my faith, my goal for the month of January is to go to church every single Sunday or Saturday, but to go to church every single week with my family. Okay, and then I have 2 goals that fall under the mental, emotional health, and me time category. And that is, the first one is self-care. So every week I want to focus on doing one thing for me, whether that's a face mask, a bubble bath, getting my nails done, playing around with makeup and hair products. However I want to spend it, just a little bit of time to do something that makes me feel good about myself. And then the other goal that I have under this category is to listen to one podcast a week that will help my mental or emotional health. So I have so many podcasts saved on my phone that I just never feel like I find the time to listen to, even though I have a 40-minute commute to work every day. So I'm going to make it a goal to listen to at least one podcast each week that will help my mental or emotional health. Finally, let's move on to the daily action items. So for the daily action items, I have 2 goals that I want to work on in the establishing and improving routines category, and that is my AM and my PM routine. So I'm going to list out AM routine and PM routine. Like I talked about earlier, I'm going to start really small on these routines. So as you can see, here is my AM routine that I want to work on in January, and here is my PM routine I want to work on in January. These are all things that I'm either currently doing, or it's just a small step up from what I was doing. If I complete these routines every day, I will give myself a check, and then in February, I can add on little by little to these routines. For prioritizing my physical health, the goal that I want to focus on this month is counting my macros. I'm going to use the MyFitnessPal app just to be more aware of the foods I'm putting in my body and trying to eat a little bit healthier to fuel my body in a better way. So if I count my macros and I input my food, I'm going to give myself a check. All right, for the goal of strengthening my faith, I'm going to write down daily devotional. This is that book I talked about earlier. It's a year-long book of devotionals for moms, and I'm going to start it on January 1st. I hope to include this in my morning routine, but if I don't have enough time, as long as I get it in at some point throughout the day, I will give myself a check for completing this goal. And then finally, I have 2 goals that fall under the mental, emotional, and me time category. The first one is daily gratitude. This is something that I tried in 2020. I did okay with, but I never was really consistent. So I want to work on every day writing down 1 to 3 things I am grateful for. I've read so many studies that have shown it is proven just to boost your emotional health, your mental health, and also I just think it's good to practice gratitude. And then finally, my last goal for the month also falls in this mental health category, and that is to get outside. I feel like recently with winter and the weather just being so yucky, I've been stuck inside. Even with the kids, we're all cooped up, crazy. And getting outside every day, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes to get some fresh air, taking a walk around the block, playing in the backyard with the kids, it will be good for all of us. So that is another goal that I have for this month. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this look into my 2021 goals as well as my January tending list. I hope now that I have gone through all of it, this goal setting system makes a little bit more sense to you. If you have any questions about anything I have talked about, either leave me a comment below or go to Instagram, send me a message. I love talking anything about planning, goal setting, all that fun stuff. So reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to chat with you. At the end of January, when I do my February tending list, I will be sharing how I did with all of my January goals. So you will get to see what areas I made progress in, what areas, hopefully I didn't fall off the wagon on any of these, but it is very likely because it's January. But you'll get to see all of that at the end of this month when I do my February tending list. Like I said too, if you're interested in looking into this planner, I will leave the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it and you want to see more. And also do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.